Hey everybody, happy St. Joseph's Day. Hope this finds you well. Having a little fun here in the backyard. You can see that. That, of course, is an acorn. We have a bunch of them that we saved from last season and then just kept them in the porch all winter, let them dry out. You got to get them before the worms get to them. That's about true for everything in life because the worms are gonna get you eventually too. And so what are we doing today? We're gonna be making acorn flour. So we crack the acorns, we take out the actual nut. You're saying, Father Dave, you're a nut. I might be a nut. And then we soak them in water all night. And then eventually we get all the tannins out of them. And we make acorn flour. We put that in some of our sourdough breads and some of the other things we make just to enjoy this fruit of the land that we see the squirrels eating. It never had a negative effect on me eating acorn flour. But it's you know what? It's kind of fun. I don't know if it's fun. It's kind of cool. This is my hammer, just a piece of oak. Yes, I have a real hammer, but I like going back to some of these traditional skills. That is what the squirrels are eating inside the acorn. I don't know if you've ever seen the inside of it, but that's it, right there. No, you can't eat it like that. And Crags is sleeping on the back deck somewhere. Where is she? There she is, if you can see her up there. She's catching the sun. She's tanning. And there's tannins in these acorns. Coincidence? I don't think so. But also just want to share a spiritual thought with you. So what is this crazy priest doing on his day off? So yesterday in the gospel reading, right, we had that really long one about the blind man, and that God did not make disease, right? So for everybody that wants to get angry at God, he didn't do it. All right, so that being said, this one doesn't look that great. Well, we'll see what happens when we cook it. That being said, the Pharisees were convinced that he was a sinner because Jesus healed him on the Sabbath. And, of course, we remember that Jesus says, the Sabbath was made for man and not man for the Sabbath, right? So, it's not that the Sabbath, for us Christians, of course, Sunday is holier than human life. And so why were they making a big deal about resting on the Sabbath? Because God rested on the Sabbath. And we're supposed to follow what God does. God says God is the truth, so we tell the truth, right? We don't lie. We worship God. We follow his ways, right? That's like Catholic hospitals. Like, why do Catholic hospitals heal the sick? Because Jesus healed the sick. We don't heal them to make money. At least we shouldn't, right? We don't get involved in trying to discover medicines. And, medicines are like the modern day clay that we put on people's eyes to help them make well. But we don't try to do that for extreme profit. We do that just to help people because Jesus did. That's why we do it. All right. But God rested on the Sabbath, and the idea of God resting on the Sabbath wasn't that God was tired. God can't get tired. And it wasn't that he needed a day off. He didn't need a day off. And it's not exactly that God made the world in 7 days. That's trying to tell us something, that God himself took time to love and appreciate his creation. So imagine that you're making coffee from you're roasting your own beans over a fire. I've done that. It makes delicious coffee about 1/3 of the time. 2/3 I burn them. So eventually I'll get better at that. We'll do another video about that, I guess. But imagine it takes you 6 days to roast your beans. Now it doesn't. It takes takes a couple hours, and then the next day they're pretty good. But imagine you're making coffee from scratch, and there you are roasting beans for 5 days, 6 days, and now on the 7th day you get to grind those beans and enjoy a cup of coffee. Or you're making homemade hard cider. We make hard cider here in the rectory, and you let it sit for 6 months, and then on the 7th month you drink it. Right? That's the idea of the Sabbath day. The Sabbath rest is the acorns are flying off the handle. Right? The idea, because I'm trying to do this one-handed. The idea is that you got 6 days to work and care for your house and, earn your income and attend to the chores. And then on the 7th day, you should enjoy all that you're working for and enjoy the relationships around you, right? So if you're a caregiver for your spouse, maybe they're sick, and you spend 6 days driving around to the doctors and caring for them. Well, do you get to enjoy any time with them? On the 7th day, that's a day of enjoyment. And we keep God's commandments all week long, and we keep them on Sunday too. but there should be a place to enjoy time with God and to give him time to enjoy you, right? There's time to like walk your dog and take your dog to the vet, right? And clean your dog, wash her and all that stuff. And there's time to give her a belly rub, and Sunday is the belly rub day. And it's not for us to rub our own bellies alone. Like, we want to enjoy all of God's creation. So it's a special day to spend time with your family. It's a special day to spend time with the Lord and to look and act differently than you do every other day of the week. If you're in a relationship with someone, that should have a measurable effect in your life. And we talk about keeping Sunday holy. This is what that means. And so for sure, like, teachers are going to have to like start doing their lesson plans, and students are going to be cramming to do their homework for the next, day. And that'll happen, So like, my brother's a nurse, and sometimes he's got to work those 36-hour shifts or whatever they are, and like, he can't get to church on Sunday. God understands that. So he tries to go on a Monday, or he tries to go on a Saturday night if he can, or a Tuesday if it doesn't work out, right? And so like, you try to keep Sunday holy, which is more than going to Mass. It's, hey, are you slowing down? Are you unplugging? Does it look just like a regular day? Or are you taking time to enjoy the fruit of all that you're working for? And I don't mean like in a selfish way, like to really enjoy it in the way that God would benefit other people, right? You're having a barbecue in your backyard. Italians, right? You have a big Italian dinner. In my family growing up, we always had a big Sunday breakfast, right? And so like, we didn't really have a lot of money, but we would have eggs and rolls, and I always had a garlic bagel, which my mom kept segregated from all the other bagels because it would corrupt them. But, I do like garlic bagels. Now I can only really eat them if I'm not meeting people because they're, they stink. Oh, the squirrels are running around. They see all these acorns. Anyway, so have that in your head as you're coming into the next Sunday. You hear me say, keep Sunday holy. And for sure, that's making time for God. And some of you do that out there by watching a spiritual video that you don't normally watch, because who wants to watch spiritual videos all the time? I don't. Not all the time, right? But so you make an additional time to learn about your faith, to love God, and to reach out and help somebody. Maybe that's the day you do a little extra work at church. Maybe you bring like some groceries into your church's food pantry to help feed the hungry, and you take your kids out to the diner, and you say a decade of the rosary. Maybe you don't do that every day as a family, but maybe you do that in the car ride home, just thanking God for the family that you have while you still have them. Something like that. Give God a chance to enjoy you, and you enjoy him, because what are you going to do forever? In heaven, are you going to be with God? Yes or no? Say yes, right? So then, how are you going to enjoy his company if you're not getting to know him now, right? And like, so Sunday is like a little heaven, a little bit of heaven. For my married couples of certain ages, Sunday was a day of marital enjoyment. I'll let you figure out what that means. Fridays for fasting days, so it goes both ways. Anyway, God bless you guys. Keep the faith, keep Sunday holy, and if you have good jokes, you can crack people up. All right, peace.